Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? And welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. This upcoming week within Modern Warfare 3 is a big one, mainly because it is actually the final full week of the preseason era within MW3. This week's update is going to be the final update that we have before Season 1 drops the first week of December. And with that, we've actually got a lot already confirmed for our final preseason update, including some new content, some pretty significant gameplay updates. So lots to break down today as we preview the updates. If you enjoy the video as we go through it all, do me a favor and drop a like on it. It really does help the channel grow. And if you're new to the channel or you simply haven't subscribed yet, let's change that, because every single day I'm your one-stop shop for quite literally everything going on in COD, whether it's MW3 Warzone. I got you covered with news, updates, meta breakdowns. It's all right here. So feel free to hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications. So being that this is the final full week of the preseason, obviously the first couple of days leading into next week are still going to be in this season, but come Wednesday, December 6th, Season 1 is going to be launching. And then obviously that changes things a ton for multiplayer. Obviously the Warzone integration is inbound, so a big couple of weeks coming up here. But as far as this upcoming week goes for the preseason, we have at least one guaranteed update, but it's quite possible that we see a couple of different updates drop throughout the week. Just depends on if and when they're going to be dropping any specific patch note updates, as they have these past couple of weeks. It's kind of happened on random days. Wednesday, we know for sure, is our standard weekly update day, and we've already got some confirmed things happening for that. And then of course, if there are any new patch notes, which as we'll get to in this video, it seems like we're going to see several new gameplay updates with patch notes associated with them. That could happen any day of the week. Last week we saw it happen on Tuesday. The week before, I think it happened on Friday. So if that ends up happening, if there's any patch notes or random surprise updates, have no fear, I'll have you covered with all the changes right as it happens. So stay tuned for that. But as far as the standard weekly update goes this Wednesday, first things first, we do have a new playlist update that's been previewed throughout the weekend as like the countdown timer on the main menu. I'm sure some of you have probably seen it by now, but we're actually getting a new map update with the preseason, because this upcoming Wednesday, we're going to see the introduction of Shipment into Modern Warfare 3 6v6. And with this, we're going to see the Rustment playlist. It's going to be Rust and Shipment 24/7, which really just means because there's map voting, it's going to be Shipment 24/7, unless like it's TDM on Shipment and Domination or Hardpoint on Rust, because the games might last a little bit longer there. But yeah, that's going to be its own playlist, probably going to be the most popular playlist this week, I would imagine. And then also High Rise 24/7 is going to be debuting as well. Kind of interesting to note, as they've gone throughout these playlist updates, they're not actually replacing the 24/7 playlist so far. They've been adding to the list. So we have Terminal 24/7 live, and we have, Rust 24/7 live. I'm curious to see if they're going to keep all of these live throughout the week, or if now, because we have potentially 4 active, they will end up replacing some. Only time is going to tell there, but definitely some exciting stuff happening with the playlist update. Now, alongside the playlist update on Wednesday, we're also going to see our final preseason weekly challenge update as well. And this one is extra significant for a handful of reasons. Obviously, for the past 3 weeks, every single Wednesday, we've seen new weekly challenges added to the weekly challenge menu. And with that, we've also seen the new aftermarket parts update. Because of the various challenges associated with the weekly challenges, the rewards for those have been aftermarket parts up until this point. For the DG56 LSW, whatever the LMG is called, for the Swarm, we've seen several new aftermarket parts added in through completing 5 of your weekly challenges between zombies and multiplayer. This week, though, they might be stepping it up a bit and actually introducing a brand new weapon through the weekly challenges. We know this because from the initial weapon preview blog pre-launch for MW3, the TAC Eradicator LMG was actually listed as a new LMG that was going to be coming shortly after launch. Now, everything else that's been post-launch has been referred to as Season 1 content or post-launch content. They specifically say for this, via an in-game challenge shortly after launch. So it definitely make the most sense to see this introduced via the weekly challenges for sure. So we have that to potentially look out for. We're not fully aware of any other aftermarket part updates either as of now. So the final remaining week 4 challenge reward for this should in theory be the TAC Eradicator. Also, for what it's worth, this just showed up this past week in Gun Game. You might notice that you end up having this as one of your selections. It basically plays like the hammer from BO2, I think it was. Starts out with a really fast fire rate, then slows down a little bit. So it's quite possible that this week's weekly challenge update is going to introduce a brand new weapon to the game, which is going to be pretty exciting to see. Our first actual new weapon update of MW3. And then on top of that, with the weekly challenges, we're also going to gain access to the Golden River sort of weekly challenge mastery camo, if you want to call it that. Basically, you can end up unlocking this camo if you go through and unlock all the aftermarket parts, and then whatever this week's reward is going to be, probably again the TAC Eradicator. So if you end up doing all of that and getting 5 out of the 7 challenges done for every single of the 4 weeks, you'll end up gaining access to the Golden River Universal Camo. This is an animated camo, and I'm not gonna lie, I actually think it looks really cool. It's a bit funky on some of the weapons. It seems like the direction of the pattern flows one way on some parts of the gun and then a different way on others. I'm not sure if that's intended, but regardless, it's a pretty clean looking camo, and it's going to be universally available as mentioned, so you can throw it on whatever weapons you want, but you have to do all your weekly challenges for that to be unlocked. So definitely some big content updates coming with that challenge update, or the weekly challenge update this Wednesday. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we do also have some confirmed gameplay updates for MW3, some new ones that have surfaced sort of over the holiday weekend, it seems, in regards to all sorts of different things within multiplayer and just global issues in general. And this is stemming from the Sledgehammer and MW3 Trello board. Essentially on this, they go through and list some of the things that they're investigating or some upcoming fixes that they have. And this week, much like last week, there are several new things that are listed as fixed scheduled, which means a guaranteed update, a guaranteed fix is on the way, likely either with the playlist update this week or potentially with some surprise patch notes. Again, if that happens, I'll have you guys covered with a video right as it does surface, so just be sure to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date. There's also some new things they're investigating, which means we could see them fixed as early as this week or potentially with season 1 as well. So all that being said, with the global issues here, one that we actually have stemming from last week that sort of continued on into this week is the Royalty Tiger camo being brighter than intended. Basically, in any maps that are a bit darker in terms of their skybox, if it's nighttime or if it's overcast, or in ground war or zombies, this camo is way bright, but also this now affects the ghoulie camo as well. Last week in the patch notes, they said they reduced the brightness of the ghoulie camo, but it seems like they put the slider in the wrong direction because now it's brighter than ever before. So this applies both now to Royalty Tiger and ghoulie, and that should be updated and fixed here soon. Now for multiplayer, some new things that they are investigating here. They are looking into an exploit that allows players to sprint while being in the prone animation. This is the new slithering movement that people have been talking about. So they are well aware of this. It is not intended. They are going to be fixing this very quickly, I'd imagine, because it's a pretty broken mechanic that makes it very difficult to shoot and actually take on some players. They're also looking into an exploitable location near the hotel on Operation Spearhead. In war mode, the scoreboard will always display 0 kills. This has been a problem for a couple of weeks now, and they're only just acknowledging it, so it's nice that they're on top of this now. That should be updated here shortly. Then also, the HUD is not always hidden in the hardcore playlist. Sometimes you see your ammo count or other various things that aren't supposed to be there, so that's going to be taken away in a future update as well. Also, because I see this one asked about a lot, they are also looking into EOD. This is on the Trello board too. They know that the explosive damage is not working correctly against EOD, and oftentimes nades will kill you when they shouldn't. So that one is also being investigated. Could be fixed this week. If not, probably is going to get fixed with season 1. And then for the confirmed and guaranteed multiplayer fixes, we got a handful of new things here with the fixed scheduled tab on them now. So initially, the firing range dummy health does not match the health of real players. Currently in the firing range, the dummies all have a base health of 100 and not 150 like it is in live games. So obviously, if you're testing guns for shots to kill and all sorts of damage stuff there, the dummies are not accurate whatsoever. So they are aware of that. That'll be fixed here soon. They do now have a fix scheduled for search and destroy where you can't ping because of some exploits that were live with that. So pings will be fully returning to multiplayer in general, presumably sometime in the next few days. They've fixed some of the spawns on Karachi for the cutthroat mode, so that'll return to the map rotation for that. They've also fixed the spawns for Quarry, Rundown, and Scrapyard and Hardpoint, so those will also all return to the Hardpoint map rotation. Then lastly, they are aware of an exploitable location near the offices on Quarry, and they've got a fix coming for that, so players won't be able to cheese that anymore. Now, do keep in mind, those are just some of the changes that they've gone through and actually communicated about so far. If we do see more patch notes this week, it'll probably be much more lengthy than just what we have here on the Trello, so we'll have to keep our eyes out if anything surfaces there. Now, again, because this is the final week of the preseason, this also means that this week, throughout the week, really, it could happen, you know, later today, it could happen tomorrow, maybe towards the end of the week or even over the weekend, we should see some new reveals for Season 1. This includes a full-on Season 1 roadmap and probably some previews of things like the Battle Pass, some of the new weapons, some detailed breakdowns on those, probably some update blogs in regards to Warzone and maybe some of the detailed changes that we haven't heard about for the integration update. Lots of Season 1 reveals and announcements should be happening sometime this week leading up to the launch on December 6th. So just like with the patch notes, if anything surfaces there, I'll have you guys covered with the intel right as it happens. So just stay tuned for that alongside everything else going on in the world of Call of Duty by hitting that subscribe button and turning on those post notifications. And if you enjoyed the video, do me a favor and drop a like on it as well. It would be really appreciated. But all that being said, that is going to wrap things up for this one. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.